Hi there, good evening, everyone. We'll get started in just a moment. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to just wait probably another minute, let a couple more people sign on and join us. Thank you for being here tonight. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you're here with us tonight. The webinar tonight is around the Ventura County second round COVID-19 Business Assistance Grant Program. Thank you so much for being here. Unfortunately, Claire can't be here with us tonight from EDC, so I'm your substitute teacher, Cecily Hendricks, and I work with Visionality. We are an EDC client ourselves, and EDC has hosted almost 50 of these webinars around the different recovery programs this year, and we help host these. So thank you for being here. Beyond the pandemic work, EDC is here to help your business grow through no-cost consulting in all areas of business, including marketing, finance, growth, HR, and also through low-interest startup and growth loans. So with that, let's hop right to it. First, I would like to give a couple housekeeping notes. So this is in a webinar format. So as an attendee, you will be muted and your camera will stay off for the session. This is being recorded. So after we're done tonight, in the following week, you will get an email with a link to the recording and any resources that we're going to talk about in the next few days. And with that email, we'll also send you a copy of the slides as a PDF file along with that recording. You can also always go directly to the EDC website, which is updated continually, and that's a great place to go for all of the most current information. So tonight, if you do have any questions for our presenter, I'm going to ask that you please put them in the Q&A chat feature at the bottom of your screen instead of just the normal chat. We want to make sure we don't miss your question. And if you're dialing in by phone today, you can submit your questions via email. You can email your questions to webinar@edcollaborative.com. And if for some reason you do have any tech issues tonight, please be sure to put them in the chat. We've got an amazing team here, including my colleague Jahi, that's here to help. And at the end of this webinar, we will also share the phone number for our business assistance line that offers assistance in both English and Spanish, where our expert team can help address your questions there as well. And with that, I would like to welcome tonight's amazing speaker. I'd like to introduce Gloria E. Martinez, who is the Economic Vitality Manager with the County of Ventura. Welcome, Gloria. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much, and thank you to EDC for putting this on and Visionality for all of your work to make this program a success. I'm just honored to be here today. I would like to just say hello to everyone and thank you for taking some time tonight to find out more about our business assistance program. My name, as mentioned, is Gloria Martinez. I'm the Economic Vitality Manager at the county, and I've been working the past few weeks to help part of a team to help launch this program, and I'm hoping that I can provide some good information to you. And at the end of the day, that you'll be encouraged and empowered to go ahead and apply for the grant program this in the coming days. So I'm sorry about the slides there. There we go. Key program dates. Well, today is one of them. We kicked off the pre-registration today. So we have a 1-week window of pre-registration, which we wanted to allow people to go into the portal, the application portal, set up your account. You can even upload your supporting documents, so it will go that much faster when you actually go back when the application window opens. So it was a way to get people familiar and for us to gauge the interest in the grant program itself. So right now you can create an account online and you can upload your documents. And then starting next week on Wednesday, March 31st at 8 p.m., the application window will open and you'll be able to go back into your same account and fill out your application. And we're going to go over how to do that step by step tonight. So the eligibility criteria, let's go over just the program overall. Basically, you have to be negatively impacted by COVID-19, and we're not asking for you to provide proof, and it's not always monetary. Some businesses are impacted because they had to invest in extra cleaning protocols. They maybe lost an employee because the employee had to take a leave to take care of a family member, or to be home with their children when they were out of school. So there's all different ways that COVID-19 impacts our businesses and nonprofit organizations. That's important to note. So as long as you can attest that you've been negatively impacted, which I think most of us are, you would qualify for the program. You also must have not received a grant in last year's, the Ventura County's Business Assistance Program last year. So that program, if you was run by the Ventura County Community Foundation, and if you received a $5,000 check from the foundation, you would not be eligible for this. If you applied but did not receive that grant, you could apply again. The requirements are a little different, so we do need you to apply again, and you would be eligible this time around. So you have to have a physical address, operate within the county. If you're a home-based business, that your physical address would be your home. You have to be established and open prior to 2021. So that means if you decided to open your business in the middle of the pandemic, you are still eligible to receive this grant. Your annual gross revenue has to be between 25,000 and 2.5 million. But for businesses that were opened in 2020, if you didn't have enough months to maybe meet that minimum threshold, the review team on the back end, you just submit your application like normal, and we will actually prorate that income so that we can get a sense for what you would have made if you would have opened and had a full year of operations. Also, if you opened last year in 2020, you can submit a draft tax return. If you were open longer and you have tax returns going back to 19, and you happen to have your tax returns for 2020, you can submit either one. You choose which one you want to submit. So look at the requirements and choose wisely, I would say. Currently operating or have a plan to reopen. It's not a written plan, but just you're ready and geared up and you're a viable business. We want to make sure that we're giving the grants to folks who are going to be open. If you have, multiple, basically it's one business, one person, right? If you are a business owner and you have multiple businesses, you can pick one of those businesses to apply for. If you have business partners, then one business partner might be able to apply for one business and you can apply for your other. But basically one business is eligible, one owner is eligible, and we don't want people to double up on those grants. Nonprofits, you have to be registered with VC Reopens, and maybe some of you may not be because of your where you work. Especially if you're home-based. A lot of home-based businesses have not registered there, but we do encourage you to register. And vcreopens.org is a website run by the county, and it's basically just attesting to the county that you're open and you're operating under COVID safety guidance. So there's guidance there for you if you don't already have it. I think by now we've all kind of figured out what those guidance documents are and how to implement them. So it's just a way for you to say yes. You will not, as a home-based business, you will not have anyone come out to visit your location because the county doesn't do that. But we do want to know that you're operating. Also, what's new this time around is that nonprofit organizations, we expanded that category to include 501c3s, 501c6s, and 501c19s, which are C19s are your veterans organizations and C6s are your membership organizations. So that will cover some of our chambers and civic organizations that have been really helping out during the pandemic. So they'll be able to apply this year, as well as faith-based organizations. Those organizations were not eligible last round, and they will be eligible this time around. So your business license, that's a very critical thing that came up thanks to EDC and this group here, that perhaps it was brought to our attention that childcare providers don't always need or they're exempt from getting a business license. So we are researching that. So if you could upload your state license that shows an address located in Ventura County. For now, it looks like that's going to be the way we go. We might change our FAQs in the next couple of days to reflect that. So that's something that came straight out of this group. Ineligible businesses are what you would expect, lobbying, lobbyists, government entities, investment firms. The pyramid sales are like your, unfortunately, your Mary Kay or kind of Tupperware and some of those other different multi-level marketing brands would not be eligible. Illegal activities, if the owner is incarcerated or on parole, that would be disqualified. Or cannabis related industries, liquor stores, strip clubs, affiliates, that's basically your like shell companies, they would not be eligible for the grant, and anyone else who doesn't meet the eligibility wouldn't be eligible. So that's pretty easy. Now, everyone that is eligible for the grant, we're hoping to fund. So if you meet all the eligibility criteria that I went over, you would be deemed eligible. Now, if we have more eligible applicants than we do funding, our Board of Supervisors has allocated $20 million to this grant program. If we have more eligible applicants than funding, then we will look at priority factors to just make those decisions on the grants. And the priority factors are 51% minority, woman, or veteran-owned businesses. If your business is 50, like a husband and wife, so it's 50-50, that would not qualify as, for example, a woman-owned business. It really does have to be a majority ownership and meeting one or more of those criteria. If your business is located in a low to moderate income community, that would also be a priority factor. And part of the application, when you type in the address, it will automatically tag it if it is located in one of those communities. So you don't have to worry about trying to figure that out. And then if you have employees other than the owners, if you actually employ someone, have them on payroll, those businesses would have a priority. So let's get into the nitty gritty. What are we going to ask you for? What do you need to get ready? What is this application going to take to fill out? Well, like I said, right now, during pre-registration, you can go in and you can even upload your documentation. And if you go in later and say, hey, I think I uploaded the wrong thing, it's okay. You can change them out. It's not permanent. So go in there, get your account and start to upload some of these documents. You can get it out of the way. On our website, and I should have mentioned that in the beginning, it's www.vc, like Ventura County, vcbusinessgrants.org. If you go to the website, we actually have some apps that you can download to your phone, free apps to scan documents, and we have a video in English and in Spanish that shows you how to use these apps. So it's real helpful, and you can get all your documents scanned in advance. So the first thing we're going to ask is for a government issued ID for the applicant, the owner. If it's a nonprofit, it would be the authorized agent for the organization. So the person that does business on behalf of the nonprofit most of the time. So that's going to be your executive directors, your CEOs, board chairs, that kind of thing. I don't know how many childcare providers are nonprofits, but just something to note. So these are the different types of photo IDs that we will accept. They're pretty standard, and we'll kind of go on from there. Tax returns. So what do I need? Do I need to upload my 30 pages of tax returns? I'm happy to tell you, no, you don't. We really need, we need the page that shows the income and shows the signature. So for most people, it's going to be the very first page of your tax returns. Some nonprofits will have to do the first page and the last page, because the last page is where the signature lies and the first page is where the income is. So they got to do both. But for most people, it's going to be that first page. And we've also listed out on our website all the different types, like what to look for, and that, you know, what do I fill out? Well, if you're a sole proprietor, you most likely do a 1040, and we need your 1040 with your Schedule C, and that would suffice. And we have examples of this, like you can link to it and see an example on our website. So again, draft returns are accepted for businesses that were formed in 2020 as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I think that's helpful because we know you're still kind of getting up and started and you might not have those 2020 tax returns, and you wouldn't have 2019 to fall back on if you don't have them ready yet. So we will take them in draft form. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to ask for is some sort of proof, and we went over that. We're really emphasizing the business license because it's the easiest thing for us to check very quickly. But if you don't have it, I think for childcare, we're looking at widening that scope and trying to figure out what would be the appropriate document. So my words of wisdom to you are upload the most official document or license, any kind of licensing agency that gives you a license and it has that address on there. That's going to be the best thing. And if you have questions, we have a call center. You can call there. I don't want to speak out of turn because nothing's final, but I don't foresee that we're going to have a problem with this. The other thing you'll need to fill out is a W-9. Most businesses are familiar with this. And what we're asking is that you just make sure that when you fill out the W-9, when you go into the application, that your information matches. So make sure that your name, it needs to be consistent in all places. You're going to put your name here and they're asking it's the name as shown on your tax return. And then if you do business as a different name, for example, my name on my taxes, because I'm a sole proprietor, might be Gloria Martinez, but I have a DBA that says Gloria's Daycare. So I would put the DBA in the second line there and just make sure that I do that in the application, which we'll go over in a little bit. Your business structure, sole proprietor, that means that you basically run, it's just you. You don't, you haven't applied for an LLC, a limited liability company or corporation. Everything that you earn is reported on your personal taxes, and that's how you're running your business. A great way to start off, and you can talk to EDC about a different business structure once it becomes appropriate for you. So you'll have to write in what your business structure is, your address, and your social security or your EIN. You might have an employer identification number that you use for your business expenses. Whichever one you use is what you'll put in there. Then we're going to ask you, if you're a nonprofit, to upload your letter that the IRS said, yep, you're a nonprofit. We have deemed you. We want a copy of that. And how are we going to determine how, I said that everyone who fills out the application and it's complete and they meet the eligibility would be deemed eligible. And then we'll look at that, we'll look at the funding, and we'll go into priority factors if we need to. Hopefully we'll be able to fund everyone. These are some use of funds. All of this is available on the website. The things that the grant is, what you're allowed to use the money for. We're not asking for receipts, and we're not asking for you to produce at a later time some sort of report or proof that you spent the money on these things. However, it's always good business practice to keep receipts of everything and to be able to document and track, because you are kind of signing and certifying, yes, you're going to use the money on these approved things. And it's pretty broad, and I don't think any of you would have a problem, using the money for those kind of things. So let me keep going. So let's get into the nitty gritty. You've already uploaded all your documents. You're all ready for March 31st. Let's get started and let's fill out the application. What can I expect to see on that application? First of all, we're going to have a section called personal owner or authorized agent information. So we want to know who's filling out the application, and we're asking for the owner to fill out the application. We want the owner or that authorized agent, that would be for mostly the nonprofits. We want their full name, their email address, a best phone number to contact. If you upload something, we can't quite read it, you want to, provide us with a phone number where we can get in touch with you. And then your date of birth, which will match your ID. And that's how we verify that you and the ID are the same person. So business organization information. So now let's find out a little bit about your business. Again, your organization name as shown on your income tax return. If you're a sole proprietor, sometimes it's just me. I might do consulting. It's just someone writes a check to me and that's how I run my business, then that would be my name. But if I do business as another company, then I would put the DBA. Sometimes you don't have a DBA. It's just Gloria's Daycare. That's my business name and that's what I do my taxes under. Then that's the name that I would put under organization name, and I wouldn't use the DBA. So it's only if you have that DBA. A DBA is a doing business as, and you get that by filing a fictitious business statement with the county. So you'll know if you have a DBA or not. If you're like, do I have one? I'm not sure. If you haven't filed that fictitious name statement, if you don't do your taxes under a different name, if you don't have a bank account that has Gloria's Daycare on, I can cash checks that have that name on it, then you most likely do not have a DBA. If you're just using it for your marketing, that's fine, that's okay, but it's not a DBA. So that's kind of how you can tell the difference. So if you have one, you write it down. Then we want 2 addresses from you, and this is very important. We want to know what your physical address is because we want to make sure that we're funding businesses that are located within the county. So we want to know physically where you're running your business out of. And then we want your mailing address. And sometimes it's not going to be within the county. We can have owners who don't live in the county, but their business is located here. They would still be eligible. We want, for the physical location, we will not accept PO boxes because we really want to know where your real business is located. But for mailing address, if you want to use a PO box, that would be just fine. So you could do that. But we need those 2 addresses. And then we need your business phone number and business website, just so we can check you out. Thanks. The next thing is, and this is, I have the W-9 up here on the screen because I really want to re-emphasize that you want everything to match, right? We want to make sure what you put in the application matches the documentation so we can get you in and through very smooth and no problems, no hiccups, no follow-up emails. So we're going to ask you for your organization or business name, and then we're going to ask if your organization or business is a nonprofit. If it is, you're going to say yes. I'm so sorry, I have a notification. Okay, if your business is a nonprofit, you'll say yes or no. That's just a yes or no question. Classification of the business does follow the W-9. So are you a sole proprietor? If not, then are you a C corporation, an S corporation, a partnership, or a trust/estate? It's going to be one of those 4 things. I kind of separated them on the bullets there. If you're not one of those things, if you're not basically incorporated, you don't have that little ink at the end of your name, then are you a limited liability company? Do you have the little LLC at the end of your name? And if you do get to decide if you're a C Corp, an S Corp, or a partnership. All of these things take quite an investment of time and money to file the appropriate paperwork with the state and federal authorities. So if you are incorporated, if you are an LLC, you should know that, and you should know what your business structure is. And if you don't know, your tax person is a great person to ask. Your tax person will be able to tell you right away what business structure you are. So just make sure that the W-9 matches what we ask you in the application. And then we have a spot for other. I don't know what that would be, but we'll find out. It's on the W-9 form, so we put it on the application as well. So all of these things will be things that you'll fill out online in the application, but make sure the information matches the W-9 that you upload. The next thing that we're going to ask is for your taxpayer ID number. Again, sometimes if you just do your business as, it's just me and people are making checks to me, I might not go through the process of getting an employer identification number, an EIN. I just use my Social Security. If that's the case, that's fine. Just put your Social Security into the application. If you do have an EIN, then you'll put that number into the application. So all of this will be online. I'm showing you here just to reiterate that it matches, that everything has to match, but it will be on the screen. And then we also want to know the date that you started your business. And that's just so that we can know if we need to prorate you, or just to know how long you've been in business. So now we're going to go into gross revenue. So how do I find out what my gross revenue was? And that's going to be how much you made before you did all your deductions. So before you did your deductions, what was your gross revenue? And we've actually created a really helpful guide. It's online on how you can find that. So if you do a 1120 corporate return, you're going to find it online 1C. And I highlighted here the 1040 Schedule C because one, it's the most common for small businesses, but it lines up with the example that I've given on the screen. You can see there line 3. So you see that there's every line in your tax document is numbered, and you can find the line that corresponds to the number that we need. So whatever number you put in to your tax documents, there is the number that you'll use to answer the question, what was your annual gross revenue in 19 or 20? Okay, so I went through that. Then see, it's pretty easy, right? Pretty straightforward stuff so far. We haven't tripped anyone up yet. So then we're going to ask, do you currently have any employees other than yourself? Do you employ someone, have them on payroll? You have employees other than yourself? And that's going to be a yes or no question. And then we're going to ask, did you have any employees other than yourself between March and now? Because the pandemic's been hard, things have slowed down. Maybe you had 5 employees before COVID, but now you don't have any. We want to know if you had them prior to COVID and if you have any now, so we can know how many employees you have. Not how many, but if you have employees. It's just a yes or no question. What does your organization do? I put some examples there, but just, let us know. What I provide childcare, if you have a specialty, if you have a niche, just a very quick little example or sentence about what your business does would be great. And then down below that, we'll have a drop-down menu where you have to pick a category. So we'll have some predefined, and you pick the category. Now for childcare, we do have a childcare category, and it is very important if you are a childcare provider that you select that category, because if you do, it will give you an option to let us at the county know if you have filed an exemption from the Public Information Act. So what's that? I'm trying to think if we have this. It may not be on our website right now, but it will be by Friday. The Public Information Act is a law that allows people to petition government to get information. And anyone who applies for this grant is applying for government funding. And we will, if we are asked to say, hey, who got this government funding, we would have to answer that question. We're not going to provide personal information. We're not going to provide financial information, but the name of your company and maybe some other information might have to be released. But for childcare providers, you have an option to register and ask for an exemption so that organizations like the county and other organizations cannot release any information about you. So if you want more information about that, there should be a link. If it's not there now, check by Friday. It will be up there by Friday in our FAQs. And you can go and you can claim that exemption, but then you'll have to let us know in the application, I have this exemption on file, so that we'll know to take that information out if we do get a request after the grant. Grant impact. So this is pretty easy. How is this going to help you? And basically all of these options are related to the eligible uses of the grant money. So if you're going to use this grant and you let us know you're going to use it for any of these or all of these, you're 100% in compliance with what you're supposed to be using the money for. So retaining existing employees, adding employees, working capital, overhead expenses, costs associated with opening or complying with the guidelines, and just pay for other COVID-19 related expenses, even expenses that you incurred in the past and still owe, can be paid with this money. Priority factors, we kind of went through those, so I just wanted to reiterate. Well, actually, this will be on the application. We'll just check, we'll ask you to check all that apply when it comes to priority factors. And then you're done. You get to the end and you're going to check and say, yes, I am the owner. All the information and the answers are true. I will use this money for the eligible uses, and we want to let you know that the grant funding is taxable. So the County of Ventura will provide a 1099 tax form at the end of 2021. So just want to make you aware of that, and you will check a box to say, yep, I know that, you told me that, and we're done. That's it. That's the end of the application. So that we do have a call center, and our call center is actually manned by our amazing partners at EDC. So they have been coming alongside us. And what's so great about that is that since they're working with businesses, they can actually offer some help to businesses on a wider scale. You know, all of the services that they offer, they're just a treasure and an asset to the economic vitality of this region. And we're lucky and fortunate to have them as a partner. So they are helping us with our call center, and I have a direct line to them, but I'll go ahead and take some questions now.
Hi, Gloria. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. So I see that we have quite a few questions here in the Q&A chat. I'll just start reading them off to you. So our first question is all this information applicable to businesses in Santa Barbara County as well as Ventura County?
I am so sorry to tell you that no, this grant is specifically for businesses that have a physical location and are operating within Ventura County.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Our next question is this first come, first serve?
It is not a first come, first serve per se. However, we understand that we need to get money out. Businesses have been suffering, and they've been suffering for a long time. So as applications come in, the first ones to be complete and eligible, there will be payments that will be, we're going to prioritize the payment processing will get done quicker for those applications that something was missing. We think they might qualify. There was a document that didn't make sense, something like that. Then those ones, there will be an attempt to see if we can bring those businesses into compliance. So it's not so much a first come, first serve, but if your application is clean and complete, it will get processed quicker and you'll have your check quicker.
Yeah. That's great. Thank you so much, Gloria. Our next question, I know Jahi was chatting me on the side. We were trying to catch that link that you mentioned at the beginning. So could you please provide the web address again? And I'm going to have Jahi go ahead and drop that in the chat of where people can start uploading those documents.
Absolutely. It is a VC, like Ventura County, vcbusinessgrants.org. vcbusinessgrants.org.
Businessgrant.org. Great. Thank you. Just a couple questions left. So this next one's about filling out the DBA. So Jenna says, my name is Jenna Matanata on my taxes. My childcare license also has on it Matanata Family Childcare, but I call myself Beautiful Morning Childcare. That Beautiful Morning name I never legally connected to my daycare. So what name am I using when I fill out the DBA?
The safest thing to use is, so if you never legally connected the other one to your daycare, that one would not be a DBA. So definitely don't use that one. I think the one that you would want to use is what corresponds most on your tax returns. That one, I'm thinking about like a couple different scenarios. Yeah, depending, because what you want is your supporting documentation to match the name of the business and the name of the person. So that one might require a call only because I need a little bit more information to tell you what to match, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so we would have Jenna call that number listed here on your slide?
Okay. Yeah, if you call that number, they should be able to walk you through to make sure that you're putting, because you're gonna, some of the information you type into the application, and then
Right.
we're gonna look at the documentation and make sure that it matches. So just keep that in mind. So that's the best way to bring those together. But if you need to prove something and the name is different, then you're gonna need a little bit more help. And that's where the call center will be very helpful to you.
Great. Thank you. So Vanessa is asking if my revenue is slightly under the 25,000 threshold, should a person still try to apply in case funds are available? The county has been flexible in the past with other programs when they have not received enough applicants or still have funds.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. I cannot, my heart is that everyone apply. We want to be able to help as many businesses as we can. But the
Mhm.
truth is that we do have program parameters. And so I could not guarantee at all that if a person doesn't meet one of the eligibility criteria, there's no way to bend the rules per se. Like we can't go, oh, well, that's so close. And those kind of decisions can't be made. But could a decision down the line be made where we make adjustments? Absolutely. That
Yeah.
happening now, the business license requirement, and then the hiccup with, that's going to leave out a lot of childcare providers. Okay, well, we don't want to do that, so we'll make an adjustment. So there can be adjustments made, I guess, on a categorical type of scale, like a program wide scale, but we can't make adjustments on an individual. So if you're willing to invest the time and submit and just hope that maybe you're not alone and this is a recurring thing and it becomes something we need to address, sure, it is possible that the program criteria can be changed to help meet that need if it's a need that we see is widespread.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great. Thank you so much. Next question. We've had a couple more come in. So this question says, I do not have a website. Is it an option to just leave that question blank on the
Yeah,
application?
yes, it's definitely an option.
Perfect. This one's kind of circumstantial as well. So this person says, I am a childcare provider. I was closed for about 3 months because parents lost their jobs, and I will eventually reopen. I applied for the grant on the first round. All I've been getting is emails that have been pushed back into a waiting list. Why is this happening?
Okay, so I believe, because you used a couple keywords there that make me think and believe that you are talking about the state's California Relief Grant. That's the grant that's run by Lendistry. The state hired Lendistry to administer that grant.
Yeah.
And the reason is because the word waitlisted. They are using that word quite a bit to let people know that they're waitlisted, and as more funding becomes available, they're going to look at their waitlisted applications. Now, that program is from the state of California. It is not, there's been a lot of confusion, quite a bit actually. I had to write a new FAQ today on it. There's been a lot of confusion about that program and this program, two different programs, state of California, county of Ventura. They don't interact. We have nothing to do with the state's program or with Lendistry, so I can't quite answer your questions on how or why they're doing things the way they are. But what I can tell you is that we're encouraging businesses to apply for both. If you're able to get a grant from the county, we understand no one program is going to save a business right now. It's going to take a layered approach, and it's going to take being really savvy. We were talking a little bit before the webinar started about what businesses have done well or even survived, or some have even thrived during COVID. What do those businesses have in common? Well, it's a multi-layered approach to how you're going to run your business. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to look at finances, efficiencies, your suppliers, um, your marketing, the way that we communicate with our customers is so different now than it used to be. And the businesses that are able to pivot and do this really well are the ones that we're seeing come out of this. So anyway, all that to say, that was my little soapbox for a second. All
All
that
right.
to say,
That's, yeah.
apply for the California, it's called, I think it's CA Relief reliefgrant.com, I believe is the website. CA, like California, CA, reliefgrant.com, I believe is the website. It is administered by a company called Lendistry, and it's run by the state of California. Definitely look into that because they're running that program now and they're continually adding more funding to that. So even though it looks dire now, you never know when another fresh round of funding will get added. So hang in there is what I can say about that one. And then also apply for the county grant, and hopefully, if you're able to, you can get both, and then that could really, hopefully get your business back on track and make an impact.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great answer. Thank you, Gloria. This next question, someone's asking, do we have to return this money? This is a grant, correct? Not a loan.
It is a 100% grant. You do not have to repay it.
That's always good to hear. Thank you. All right, next question is, when would we know if we are selected and when would we receive the funds?
That's a great question. We are working right now to stand up an amazing application review crew, but we don't have the answer. It's as quickly as we can get through the applications. Depends on how many applications we have to get through and what that process takes. So right now we're saying 3 to 7 weeks. I'm hoping that it will be more closer to the 3 to 4 week mark, but we need to give ourselves that because we don't want to put something out there that we can't complete. So it just depends on the time that it takes to review the applications and how many applications we get, and we'll be able to get a better number.
Great, thank you. Next question is, someone saying, I just opened my daycare in February 2021. Do I qualify for this grant?
No, I'm so sorry. No. Yeah. And it's terrible because we need more businesses to open and be daring. A lot of the programs a lot of businesses that opened in 2020, let's say they were planning to open, and then the pandemic hit and they had already invested and they were already on this track. So they had to open in the middle of the pandemic. A lot of them did not qualify for a lot of funding and a lot of the programs. And so they were left out. So the direction from the board was to try to capture as many of those as possible. And so we made that, as long as you opened in 2020, but unfortunately that was the cutoff, and we don't have it extended to businesses that open in 2021. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. I think that's it. Someone just answered their own question. That was the last question that I saw. Does anyone else have any other questions for Gloria tonight? I see that we're at about 6:45. Oh, and here comes some more. Side question, not sure if you know, but I have created a Lendistry account and I can no longer access it. Is there somewhere that I can contact to access it, or a website that would have that? You know the answer to this, Gloria?
I have not, that program is not under I have nothing to do with it. So I can't answer it because I don't know how they're running it or what they're doing. But I can tell you, this is just general knowledge I have about it. Lendistry partnered with local organizations to provide like the customer support, right? And so when you go to the Lendistry website, at least the last time I was there, you go to the county, Ventura County, and a list of partners will come up. And depending on which partner you select, when you look at the phone number to call or the email to contact for technical support for help, it will be different depending on the partner. So I would recommend looking at, I think it's called the SBDC, Small Business Development Center, which is run here in Ventura County. It's run by EDC. So EDC has an SBDC that they operate. If you select that organization, your calls will go right into EDC. Those will be the people that are helping you. And as I said before, they're one of the top organizations helping businesses in this region. So they're the one organization I know really well. I know, and many of you might be involved in the Women's Economic Ventures. That's another group that has been helping with the Lendistry call center and trying to elevate things. So they may be another contact. If you're already a client of theirs, I would definitely talk to them. But if you don't have any of those connections, call the number for EDC and see if they can help.
Yeah, EDC is here to help you. You know, they have a line in English and in Spanish, and you can schedule an appointment for no cost consulting. Jahi, I'm going to go ahead and have you drop that website and those phone numbers and hours again here in the chat if you don't mind. But yeah, EDC is here. So please, yeah, if you have more specific questions for these other programs, please give them a call.
And just know that you're not alone. It's been a
Mhm.
frustrating journey for quite a few. The technical challenges, and then just getting somebody to be able to answer questions has been really hard.
Mhm. Yeah. We got a couple more in. Can I apply with not having a social security number, but instead with a ITIN number?
Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Great, thank you. This person missed the beginning of the webinar, but they were just wondering, what is the income limit for the grants?
25,000 is the minimum, and that's gross annual receipts. So 25,000 is the minimum, and 2.5 million is the top part.
Okay, great, thank you. Any other questions for anyone? For Gloria? Just got another one. This person says, I file a 1040 SR, which line shows my gross revenue? Do you know the answer to that?
1040 SR.
Yeah, this
Wow, you tripped me up on that one. It's a good question. I'm gonna look into that one. Can you ask the person who's asking the business structure?
Yeah, Carolina, can you drop that here in the Q&A chat? See if Carolina's still here online. Yeah, I don't see a response. Oh, tax return for seniors.
Oh, interesting. Okay. The gross revenue line, so I have not heard of that type of 1040. So I'm trying to think of how to get you the best answer without the easy answer would be to call the call center line and have them help you figure it out. But I also think if you look at the 1040, what the line that we're requesting on the 1040, the Schedule C, if you look at that line and see what is comparable on the 1040 SR as far as your gross revenues. So if you compare the two, and we have on the website, we literally have like the whole page and it's outlined where that gross revenue line is. You'll probably be able to figure it out. And if you can't figure it out, I would call the call center line. They would probably be able to help us.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, Carolina also just added to the chat. I see an adjusted gross income. Would that be it?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've already had this question come up. Olga is asking, so I have received a grant from Lendistry already once. This is a completely different grant, correct? Different partner. Do I still qualify? The answer is yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Congratulations on getting that Lendistry grant.
Great, thank you. Yeah, I see a couple more comments on that last 1040 question. Looks like that was the answer though. Okay. Well, I think that's it for tonight. Thank you so much, Gloria. You've just been, wow, what a wealth of information. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer all of these questions. I see here Maria just asked in the chat again, how do we apply? Jahi, if you want to drop that link one more time in the chat, that would be great. And yeah, thank you so much. Any closing thoughts or remarks, Gloria?
Call, apply, We have streamlined this. It's not going to be hard. And if you have any questions, call the call center, reach out. We're doing our hardest to get back to you. And don't give us a couple days to work out, our system. So if you don't get an answer right away, do not hesitate to call back. Somebody will answer your question.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Mhm.
Gloria. And yeah, please take note of that call center line here in her slide. I know He has posted this a few times as well, but EDC is here to help. Please call EDC. Check out their website. I know that their information is updated almost every week with all of the different grants and programs that are rolling out. And with that, thank you so much for coming, everyone. I know it's kind of a late evening. We really appreciate your time, Gloria. And yeah, we'll be sending out a copy of this recording along with these slides later this week.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.